Economic development in Kenya is largely underpinned by the quality and integrity of the country's rich natural resource base. The country is renowned for its nature-based tourism and has some of the world's best and most visited national parks. The climate supports a vibrant agricultural sector, and its forests and savannas are rich in biodiversity, including the wildlife, which supports Kenya's profitable tourism sector. Environmental degradation, however, is threatening that natural resource base. Kenya, Atlas of Our Changing Environment, produced at the request of the Kenya government, provides visual and compelling evidence of the rapid changes taking place in the country's critical ecosystems due to pressures from human activities. Its release provides an important resource for setting the context and establishing a baseline for the realization of Kenya's Vision 2030 development plan. Its 5 chapters look at Kenya's environment and the changes that have taken place in that environment. Chapter 1 looks at Kenya's environment through the lens of the Vision 2030 development plan. Chapter 2 assesses Kenya's progress towards achieving the targets associated with the Millennium Development Goals. Environmental concerns which are shared with Kenya's neighbors are examined in Chapter 3. The 4th chapter looks at specific areas of environmental concern or hotspots using satellite images from the past and present. The final chapter looks at Nairobi, Kenya's capital city. Kenya, Atlas of Our Changing Environment, presents highlights of current environmental science and Earth observation technology to give clear evidence of the changes taking place in Kenya's environment. What follows are a few examples of the striking changes taking place. The Mau Forest Complex is one of 5 high-elevation forests, sometimes referred to as Kenya's 5 water towers, each of them crucial to Kenya's water supply. But the condition of this vital asset has been seriously degraded in the past few decades. Forested area in the eastern Mau has been dramatically reduced since 1973 as forests have been cleared to feed Kenya's growing population. The line between what remains of the forest and the expanding farmlands has moved continually upward, deeper and deeper into Kenya's highland forests. Since 1973, roughly half of the dense natural vegetation cover surrounding eastern Mau Forest has been lost. Much of that since 2001, when over half of the eastern Mau Forest Reserve was excised. Masai Mau Forest forms the upper watershed for the Mara River, crucial to the Masai Mara. The loss of forest since 1973 has been dramatic, 30% of it lost since 1986 alone. Similar losses have occurred across much of the Mau complex since 1973, leaving this valuable asset seriously degraded. Kenya's capital, Nairobi, has grown to a city of roughly 3 million people since its founding at the beginning of the last century. This growing population places increasing burdens on its rivers due to inadequate waste treatment. Slum dwellers, such as Kibera's 700,000 inhabitants, generally have inadequate access to safe water supplies and sanitation, and are subject to severe disease outbreaks. Nairobi Dam is now polluted and infested with water hyacinth. Nairobi is a major contributor to Kenya's economy, generating about half of the nation's GDP. However, like many industrial cities, Nairobi suffers from poor air quality. The city generates over 1,500 tons of solid waste each day, overwhelming the municipal and private collection systems. Automobile congestion is an increasing problem. Traffic-related costs are estimated at 50 million Kenyan shillings a day through increased fuel consumption, mechanical damage, and pollution. This growing city is neighbor to Nairobi National Park. Growth of the city presents several problems to maintaining the park's natural environment. On Kenya's western border, Mount Elgon is one of Kenya's 5 water tower forests, headwaters to the Nzoia and Turkwell rivers. Legal logging and a very dense rural population have led to the loss and degradation of a significant portion of its natural forests since the 1970s. Mount Kenya's scenic snowcap, rising above the surrounding savanna, can be seen for hundreds of kilometers. It is an iconic symbol of Kenya, known around the world. Its slopes are valuable for timber, tourism, and is a critical water catchment for much of the country, as well as for agriculture. Intense population growth, clearing of indigenous forests for tree plantations, illegal logging, charcoal production, and illegal farming have left scars in the forests along Mount Kenya's slopes. Changes in management of the forest since 2000, however, have significantly reduced these threats, and the condition of the forests is now generally improving. Kenya, Atlas of Our Changing Environment, demonstrates the Kenyan government's commitment to bringing environmental science and Earth observation science to the fore of Kenya's natural resources management to help make decisions that will stand the test of time. Kenya, Atlas of Our Changing Environment is a joint production of UNEP and the Government of Kenya.